In the city of Kano, where glass towers met the dust-red earth, everyone knew the name Layla Gubra. Her mansion sat on the edge of Gwarzo Hill, an ocean of marble, fountains, and silent guards. Each morning at 6, the gates opened and her black Maybach rolled toward the Gubra Foundation, where Layla presided over charity boards, fashion galas, and multi-billion-naira contracts. She was admired, envied, and feared. Yet behind the sparkle of her jewelry and the flash of cameras lay something colder than money: silence. Since her husband, Al-Haji Kabru Gubra, had died 2 years earlier, Layla's world had been perfectly organized but utterly hollow. The mansion was filled with staff, but none who dared speak casually to her. At night, she often wandered through Kabru's old study, touching the leather spine of his books, still smelling faintly of his cologne. The city called her the Iron Widow of Kano. She pretended not to care. The morning sun poured through the mansion's glass atrium. Layla, dressed in a white silk kaftan embroidered with gold, sat at a table of untouched breakfast. Her assistant, Amira, read out her schedule. "Madam, you have the board meeting at 10, then the foundation event at the children's hospital." Layla nodded without looking up. "Cancel the dinner with the politicians." "I'm not interested." Amira hesitated. "They're expecting you." "Then let them expect," Layla said softly, her eyes still on the untouched tea. Amira bowed slightly and left. The housekeeper, Mama Hawa, cleared the table quietly, exchanging a look of pity with the driver waiting at the door. Everyone sensed that beneath Layla's calm exterior was a woman who hadn't slept peacefully in years. The car glided through Kano's wide roads. Layla watched the city through tinted glass, traders shouting prices, buses honking, children chasing each other near the market. The noise of life clashed with her silence. They stopped briefly at a red light near the flyover. On the opposite side of the road, a group of beggars sat beneath a neem tree. Men missing limbs, women clutching babies, children holding rusted tins. Layla's eyes lingered on them, but only for a second before she turned away. She had seen poverty every day. She even funded orphanages. Yet something about one of the women at the roadside tugged faintly at her. A young woman, barefoot, her wrapper faded, 2 infants pressed against her chest. But before Layla could focus, the traffic light changed and the car pulled forward. At the Gubra Foundation headquarters, Layla moved like clockwork, signing contracts, reviewing reports, smiling for cameras. The board applauded her leadership as she approved a new hospital wing. The press described her as a philanthropic icon. But in the elevator afterward, when the doors closed and the reflection of her own face stared back at her, the smile dropped. "Icon," she whispered bitterly. And still alone. That night, she returned home to an empty dining room. Her late husband's portrait hung above the grand staircase. Kabru smiling, confident, forever young. She raised her wine glass toward it. "Your empire still stands," she murmured. "But what did it cost me?" The echo of her own voice was her only answer. In her bedroom, Layla sat at the vanity table. She opened a drawer and pulled out a small velvet box containing Kabru's wedding ring. She slipped it onto her finger for the first time in months and studied her reflection. "Would you still love me if you saw me like this? Tired? Lonely?" she whispered. A knock came at the door. Amira entered hesitantly. "Madam, tomorrow's event at the foundation will pass near Kofar Ruwa Market. The main road might be blocked. The driver suggests a shorter route." Layla nodded absently. "Fine, let's take the shortcut." As Amira left, Layla gazed out the window at the sleeping city. Somewhere in the distance, she heard a baby crying, a faint sound carried by the wind. For a reason she couldn't explain, it sent a shiver through her. She pressed her ringed hand against her heart and tried to ignore the unease rising within her. The next morning, the Maybach would roll through the crowded streets of Kofar Ruwa. And on that very roadside beneath the neem tree, fate waited. 2 crying infants and a woman whose face would change everything Layla thought she knew about love, loyalty, and her late husband. The next morning broke with a haze of dust and sunlight spreading over Kano. Layla Gubra stepped out of her mansion dressed in an emerald green kaftan, a diamond pin fastening her headscarf. The air smelled faintly of hibiscus and car exhaust. Her driver, Yakubu, opened the back door of the Maybach and greeted her with his usual respectful tone. "Good morning, madam. The route to the hospital is still congested. I suggest we take the road through Kofar Ruwa Market. It's faster." Layla glanced up from her phone. "Yes, take it. I'd like to reach the foundation before noon." The car glided through the gates. Two guards saluted as the heavy iron doors shut behind them. Inside, Layla scrolled through old photos, images of her and Kabaru attending fundraisers, smiling at ribbon cuttings, hands intertwined. She paused on one where Kabaru's arm was wrapped around her waist. His smile seemed alive even now. For the first time in months, her throat tightened. "Madam, are you all right?" Yakubu asked gently from the front. Layla blinked. "Yes, just drive." They turned into the narrow, crowded lanes of Kofar Ruwa. The marketplace was a sea of noise. Hawkers shouting, motorbikes weaving, vendors lifting trays of mangoes and yams. Children darted between cars. As the Maybach slowed near the old flyover, Layla noticed something. Someone on the sidewalk. A young woman, sitting barefoot on the concrete, her wrapper torn and dusty, holding two infants. Their clothes were threadbare. One baby coughed weakly while the other whimpered softly against her chest. The mother's face was drawn with exhaustion, yet her eyes were alive with a strange, desperate tenderness. Layla's gaze fixed on her. Something about those babies, their faces, their eyes. They were hazel, uncommon, light brown, almost golden under the sun, the same color as Kabaru's eyes. "Yakubu," Layla said sharply. "Stop the car." Yakubu hesitated. "Madam, it's not safe to—" "I said stop." The brakes hissed as the car rolled to a halt. Market noise swallowed them. Heads turned. People murmured, curious about the rich woman in the luxury car. Layla opened her door and stepped out. Dust clung to her heels. Yakubu quickly followed, tried to shield her from the crowd. The beggar woman flinched at the sight of her. "Madam, please, I no mean to block the road. I beg, forgive me." Layla's voice was calm, almost detached. "What's your name?" The woman looked confused. "My name is Zainab. And the babies?" Zainab adjusted the cloth on her chest. "Them be twins, Adam and Yusuf." Layla crouched slightly, ignoring the gasps of the onlookers. "Where's their father?" Zainab's lips trembled. "He used to come, but one day he no come again. I no know where him go. He promised to marry me proper, but—" She stopped herself, eyes glistening with tears. "He disappear, madam. Just like that." Layla's pulse quickened. She didn't know why the air suddenly felt heavy. "What was his name?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Zainab hesitated. "Kabaru. Kabaru Gubra." The name slammed into Layla's chest like a physical blow. The world seemed to tilt. The shouts, the honking horns, the market, all of it faded to a ringing silence. Her husband's name. Her dead husband's name. Yakubu moved closer, concerned. "Madam, should we go?" But Layla's eyes stayed locked on Zainab. The young woman continued softly, unaware of the storm she had unleashed. "He say he travel for business. He tell me make I wait. When I no see him again, I think maybe he forget us." She lifted her chin weakly. "Madam, I no beg you for money. I just need milk for my babies." Layla swallowed hard, her voice steady but trembling underneath. "Get in the car." Zainab blinked. "Madam," I said, "get in. Bring the babies." The crowd began to murmur louder, some warning Zainab not to trust the stranger, others urging her to go. Zainab hesitated, fear in her eyes. "Madam, I no do anything wrong." Layla's tone softened, her control slipping into something raw and maternal. "Please, let me help you." Finally, Zainab stood. She wrapped the twins tighter and stepped into the Maybach. The babies whimpered quietly as the car door closed behind her. The drive back to Gwarzo Hill was silent. The twins' faint breathing filled the air. Layla sat beside them, her fingers trembling slightly as she touched the hem of the babies' blankets. Their skin tone, their hair, their eyes, it was impossible to deny. They looked like him. When they reached the mansion, Guards opened the gates, confusion on their faces. It was unheard of for anyone like Zainab to enter those grounds. Layla stepped out and turned to Yakubu. "Tell Mama Hawa to prepare the guest room beside mine, and call Dr. Ibrahim immediately." Yakubu nodded, stunned. Inside, the marble floors gleamed under the chandelier light. Zainab stared wide-eyed, clutching her children as if they might vanish in such wealth. "Madam, this house," she whispered. "It's like paradise." Layla ignored the comment, leading her toward the guest wing. "You'll rest here tonight. Food will come soon. The doctor will examine the babies." Zainab's eyes filled with gratitude. "Madam, I know how to thank you." Layla's gaze lingered on the infants again. A deep, silent question screamed inside her. Could this be true? Had Kabaru hidden another family from her? She forced herself to speak. "Rest. We'll talk tomorrow." As the door closed behind Zainab, Layla pressed her back against the wall, the polished marble cold against her skin. Her breath came fast and shallow. She whispered to herself, almost in disbelief, "Kabaru, what did you do?" Outside the guest room, the soft cry of one baby echoed down the hall. Layla turned toward the sound, heart pounding, unaware that this night would open a door she could never close again, and that the woman she just rescued wasn't a stranger at all, but a mirror reflecting her husband's secret life. Morning came with the sound of birds and the faint cry of a baby echoing through the long corridors of the Gubra mansion. The sun poured golden light over the marble floors, touching everything with warmth. Everything except the heaviness in Layla's heart. She hadn't slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Zainab's face, the frightened look, the baby's hazel eyes, Kabaru's eyes. The thought kept haunting her, looping endlessly. From her dressing table, she picked up the silver-framed picture of Kabaru in his favorite white kaftan. "Who were you?" "Really?" she whispered. "How could you hide this from me?" In the guest room, Zainab sat on the edge of the bed, feeding Adam with a small bottle. The babies were finally calm. When the door opened, she rose immediately. "Good morning, madam." Layla entered, her expression polite but unreadable. "How are the twins?" "They fine, madam. The doctor man treat them well. He say them just need rest and good food." Layla nodded, taking in Zainab's tired but grateful face. "Good. You'll stay here until they're stronger." Zainab's eyes widened. "Madam, I know fit stay here long. People go talk." "Let them talk," Layla said simply. "I'm not doing this for them." A brief silence stretched between them. One woman born into wealth, the other molded by survival. Two lives that should never have crossed, yet destiny had forced them together. Later that afternoon, Dr. Ibrahim arrived at the mansion again to check on the babies. He greeted Layla respectfully and gave his report. "They're improving, madam. Malnutrition and mild dehydration. But I also noticed something interesting. These children share similar facial features with your late husband." The words were like a knife twisting in her chest. "Are you sure?" she asked quietly. "I've known Kabaru Gubra for years, madam," Dr. Ibrahim replied gently. "The resemblance is striking." Layla inhaled deeply. Her mind raced. "Thank you, doctor. That will be all for now." When he left, she stood at the window, staring into the garden below, where Zainab sat playing with the twins. Her fingers tightened around the curtain. "I need to know the truth." That night, when the mansion had gone quiet, Layla entered Kabaru's old study. The scent of him still lingered, woody cologne, old paper, and power. The desk drawers were neatly arranged just as she'd left them after his death, but now she searched them differently, looking for anything that didn't belong. Letters, receipts, keys, and then an envelope. She froze. It was sealed, but her name wasn't on it. Instead, written in Kabaru's bold handwriting were the words, "For Z." Her heart thundered. "Z? Zainab?" Hands trembling, she tore it open. Inside were several documents, money transfers, property titles, and photos of Zainab smiling shyly at a small house in Ungwuoku. The latest photo was dated 3 months before Kabaru's death. And then there was a small folded paper, a birth certificate. She read the names aloud, her voice shaking. "Adam Kabaru Gubra, Yusuf Kabaru Gubra." Layla stumbled back, gripping the edge of the desk. The truth crashed over her like a wave. The twins weren't just random children. They were her husband's sons. The next morning, Layla stood outside Zainab's room, staring at the door handle for what felt like forever. She finally knocked. Zainab looked up from feeding the babies, startled but smiling faintly. "Madam, you no sleep again?" Layla stepped closer, her eyes cold but steady. "Tell me the truth, Zainab. Were you married to Kabru Gubra?" Zainab froze, the smile fading. She looked down, then whispered, "Yes, madam. I be Kabru wife. But he say make nobody know. He promise say one day, everything go better. Then, he no come again." Tears filled Layla's eyes, but she fought them back. "You're saying my husband married you too?" Zainab nodded slowly. "He say he no want hurt anybody. He just want protect everybody. I no even know he get another wife before me, madam. I swear." Layla turned away, her throat tightening. Her world was splitting apart, everything she believed in burning down in slow motion. "Why now?" she whispered to herself. "Why did he leave us all with lies?" That evening, the tension in the mansion thickened like smoke. Layla couldn't eat. She sat in silence, while Zainab's laughter with the twins drifted faintly from down the hall. It was unbearable, the sound of innocence born from betrayal. Then, late into the night, she made a call. "Detective Musa," she said when the voice answered. "I need you to run a background check on a woman named Zainab Bello, and I want to confirm the identity of her children." Quietly. "Yes, madam," the detective replied. "I'll handle it." As she ended the call, thunder rolled in the distance. The storm outside matched the one inside her chest. She walked to the mirror, staring at her reflection, beautiful, powerful, and broken. "Kabaru," she murmured, "you will answer for this even in death." Rain washed over Kano that night, pounding against the windows of the Gubra mansion like an omen. The storm refused to end, just like the questions raging in Layla's heart. She sat by the window, watching the lightning streak across the sky, clutching the envelope she'd found in Kabaru's study. Every word, every date, every signature confirmed it. Her husband had lived a double life. The man she mourned had not only betrayed her, he had built another home in her shadow. By morning, the rain had stopped, leaving the city wrapped in humidity and the smell of wet earth. The mansion, however, was unusually quiet. The staff spoke in whispers, uneasy about the strange woman and her children who had suddenly appeared in their madam's home. Layla descended the grand staircase, her steps calm but deliberate. She found Zainab in the garden, washing tiny baby clothes in a silver basin. The babies lay on a mat nearby, cooing softly under the shade. For a moment, Layla just watched her. How gentle she was, how sincere she appeared. Then she remembered Kabaru's laughter when he used to hold her hand and say, "You're the only one who understands me." Now those words tasted bitter. "Zainab," Layla said, stepping closer. Zainab turned quickly, startled but smiling. "Madam, good morning, oh. I want wash small before the sun hot." Layla nodded faintly. "You're adjusting well here." "Yes, madam. I thank you. You treat me like sister. Even rich people no day kind like you." Layla forced a small smile. "You're welcome here, Zainab, as long as you're honest with me." The words hung in the air like a warning. Zainab's smile faltered for a second, but she quickly nodded. "I no get reason to lie, madam. I know on trouble." Later that day, Detective Musa called. "Madam Layla, I get the report you asked for." "Speak," she said, her voice steady. "I check everything about this woman, Zainab Bello. According to records, she really married one Kabir Gubra. Secret Islamic wedding, no court registration. The witness be one old man for Gwale. But that's not all." Layla's fingers tightened on her phone. "Go on." "She used to work at a boutique in Bombay. 2 years ago, she was arrested for fraud, but the case disappeared after one powerful man, Kabir Gubra, paid her bail." Layla's breath caught. "Fraud?" "Yes, madam. Small business scam." "But madam, something else strange. She no live poor before. She live in a rented duplex till 1 month ago. Suddenly she vanish, then appear begging on the road." Layla's eyes narrowed. "So she pretended to be destitute." "I can't say for sure," Musa replied. "But madam, this woman knows how to act poor. When the call ended, silence filled the room. The air grew thick with unease. So the innocent woman she'd pitted might be a liar after all. That evening, Layla went to the guest room quietly. She stood in the doorway, watching Zainab rock one baby to sleep while humming a lullaby. The moment Zainab saw her, she smiled warmly. "Madam, you want carry the small one?" Layla hesitated, then stepped forward and gently took baby Yusuf in her arms. The baby's warmth made her heart ache. He's just an innocent child, she thought. None of this is his fault. She looked at Zainab. "Tell me something," Layla said softly. "Before Kabr died, did he tell you where he was traveling?" Zainab blinked. "He say he go Abuja. Business with government people. He promised to send for us after 2 weeks, but he no come back." Layla's gaze sharpened. "And you never try to find him?" Zainab shook her head, tears welling. "Madam, who go listen to me? Poor woman like me." Layla nodded slowly, though her mind churned. Something didn't add up. If Zainab had a duplex and a past full of secrets, how had she suddenly become a beggar? Later that night, as the mansion grew quiet again, Zainab crept out of her room. She moved silently through the corridor, her wrapper tied tightly around her. Her eyes flicked toward the security cameras, counting each one, memorizing blind spots. She stopped at Kabru's study door. It was locked. From her wrapper, she pulled out a thin hairpin and worked it into the keyhole. Within seconds, there was a soft click. The door opened. She stepped inside, scanning the room quickly. Her gaze landed on the same drawer where Layla had found the envelope, but Zainab went deeper, pulling open another compartment beneath it. Inside was a small black USB drive, marked with Kabru's initials. Zainab smiled faintly. "Finally," she whispered. Go take everything from me, Layla Gubra." She slipped it into her wrapper and crept back out, unaware that Layla was watching from the shadows of the hallway. The next morning, Layla confronted her quietly at breakfast. "I saw you in Kabru's study last night." Zainab's spoon froze midway. "Madam, I just go look picture of him. I miss him, that's all." Layla's expression was calm, but her voice was icy. "Be careful, Zainab. This house keeps secrets, and I'm not the only one watching." Zainab's eyes darted nervously, but she forced a shaky laugh. "I no mean any harm." Layla smiled faintly, but her mind was made up. She would find out what Zainab was hiding, no matter what it cost. The night breeze moved softly through the tall trees outside the Gubra mansion, whispering secrets the wind could barely carry. Inside, Layla sat in Kabru's office, staring at the empty drawer where the USB drive once lay. Her reflection in the glass desk looked like that of a stranger, calm on the outside, but inside she was boiling with rage and confusion. He had another family, another wife, and now, even after death, he's still hiding something from me. The clock ticked past midnight. Layla picked up her phone and dialed. "Detective Musa, I need you to come. Now." Hours later, Musa arrived at the mansion in plain clothes. He looked exhausted but alert. "You said something's missing?" he asked. Layla nodded, leading him to the study. There was a USB drive in this drawer. It had Kabru's initials, KG. Someone took it last night. Only one person had the chance. "You mean the woman, Zainab?" "Yes," Layla said, her voice low. "She pretended to be asleep. I saw her near this room. She's hiding something about Kabru." Musa frowned. "We can check the security footage." Layla sighed. She's smart. She avoided the cameras. Meanwhile, in the guest room, Zainab sat in the dim light, her baby sleeping beside her. She held the USB drive in her trembling hand. She hadn't slept either. Her thoughts swirled between guilt, fear, and anger. She whispered to herself, "Kabru, you think say you go leave me empty? You lie." Her fingers shook as she plugged the drive into a small second-hand laptop she'd kept hidden in her bag. The screen flickered, and a folder appeared. "Property files, confidential." She opened it. Documents filled the screen, titles, bank records, coded contracts. But one folder made her heart stop. Trust beneficiaries. Inside were names she recognized. Business partners, mistresses, employees. And then she saw her own name, Zainab Bello Gubra. followed by another, Layla Ibrahim Gubra. She scrolled further. Both women were listed as beneficiaries of the same trust, created 1 month before Kabru's death. In the notes section, Kabru had written, "If anything happens to me, both of them must live. One protects the legacy. The other knows the truth." Zainab stared, trembling. What truth? Then she clicked on the last video file titled, "To be watched if I die." Kabru's message. The screen filled with Kabru's face. His voice was tired, softer than she remembered. "If you're watching this," he began, "then my time has come. I tried to keep peace between two worlds. Layla, my first wife, who gave me honor and respect, and Zainab, who gave me warmth and forgiveness. I couldn't choose between them, and now I fear both may pay for my sins." Zainab's lips parted in disbelief. Her heartbeat echoed in her ears. Kabru continued, "There's money, dirty money, hidden in the company accounts. Someone powerful wants it. If either of you finds this, protect the children, and trust no one." The video ended abruptly. Zainab's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh God!" She stared at the babies. "You see? Your papa still protect us. He no lie." But her relief was short-lived. A shadow moved by the window. She turned sharply. Layla stood there, her eyes cold as steel. "Interesting, isn't it?" Layla said quietly, stepping inside. Zainab froze. "Madam, I can explain." "You broke into my husband's office," Layla interrupted. "You took what didn't belong to you." Zainab's eyes glistened. "He was my husband too." The words hit Layla like a slap. The air thickened. Both women stood facing each other, one in silk and diamonds, the other in worn Ankara and grief, two wives bound by betrayal. "You have no idea what he promised me," Layla said. "And you don't know what he told me either," Zainab shot back. "He say he go build life for us, but he die before he do, Am. Everything I get now, he plan Am for me too." Layla's jaw tightened. "You're lying." Zainab's voice trembled. "Check the files. My name day there. He no hide me." Layla's eyes flicked to the laptop screen. She saw it, both their names. Equal beneficiaries, equal wives, equal victims. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from outside, the front gate slamming. Yakubu rushed in, breathless. "Madam, police cars outside. They say they get warrant to search this house." Layla's eyes widened. "What?" Before she could answer, Moose's phone buzzed. He read the message and cursed under his breath. "Madam, something bad happened. Someone leaked Kabru's old files to the authorities. They think his company launder money for politicians." Layla looked towards Zainab. "You did this?" Zainab's face twisted in shock. "No, I swear. I no do anything." But the timing was too perfect. The missing USB, the secrets, the warning from Kabru's video. Outside, red and blue lights flashed through the mansion windows. Within minutes, officers were inside, searching every room. Layla's reputation, her late husband's empire, everything was suddenly on the line. Zainab clutched her twins tightly as a female officer questioned her. "Ma'am, are you related to Kabru Gubra?" Her lips trembled. "I be him wife." The officer frowned. "You too?" Layla turned sharply at that moment, rage and humiliation colliding inside her. "She's not my husband's wife. She's a fraud." Zainab's eyes filled with tears. "You call me fraud? But your husband called me wife before God." The room fell silent except for the baby's cries. After the officers left, promising to return with more questions, Layla collapsed into the couch, covering her face. Everything was falling apart. The mansion, her name, her dignity. Zainab, holding her twins, whispered from across the room, "Madam Layla, the people that Kabru talk about, the ones after the money, they go come for us soon." Layla looked up slowly, her expression hollow. "Then you better pray you're not the reason they find us first." That night, lightning flashed again across Kano's sky. Somewhere in the shadows outside the mansion, a black SUV idled quietly. Its headlights off, two men inside watching the windows. One of them spoke softly into a phone. "We found them, both wives and the children. The boss says no mistakes this time." The night over Kano was unusually still. No rain, no wind, just the kind of silence that warned of something coming. Inside the mansion, the soft hum of the generator filled the air. Layla stood on the balcony outside her bedroom, staring into the darkness. The city lights twinkled far away, but the shadows near the gate seemed to move. Something wasn't right. She turned back inside, closing the glass door. Her phone vibrated. It was Detective Musa. "Madam," his voice came low and tense. "I need you to leave the house now." Layla froze. "What do you mean?" "The men connected to Kabaru's case. The ones who won the money. They know about Zainab and the children. They know both of you are in that mansion." Layla's heart pounded. "Ow, I don't know, but I'm on my way. Don't open the gate for anyone." The call ended. And then the lights flickered. Once, twice. Then the power went out completely. Downstairs, Zainab sat on the couch with her twins asleep beside her. The sudden darkness made her jolt up, clutching them tightly. "Madam Layla," she called out. "What happened?" Layla came running down the stairs, her phone flashlight cutting through the dark. "The power's out. Don't move." Yakubu ran in from the side corridor, panting. "Madam, I see 2 cars outside the gate. They know be police." Layla's blood ran cold. "Lock every door. Call the security men now." But before he could respond, a loud crash shattered the silence. The front gate burst open. Men in black stormed the compound, armed, fast, and efficient. They moved like they'd done this before. "Down!" Yakubu shouted, drawing his pistol. Gunfire erupted, echoing through the marble halls. Zainab screamed, clutching her babies to her chest and diving behind a pillar. Layla ducked, low beside her, fear flashing across her face. "Who are they?" she shouted over the chaos. Zainab's voice shook. "Kabir talk about them before he die. They be the men he owe money. He say if he no pay, they go find us." The sound of boots thundered closer. Layla turned to Zainab, whispering fiercely, "If we want to live, we stay together. Understand?" Zainab nodded, tears in her eyes. "Yes, madam. Together." They crawled toward the back hallway, the babies wailing softly. Yakubu held off the intruders near the front, shouting for them to run. Layla led the way through the servants' passage, heart hammering in her chest. "There's a tunnel under the east wing. It leads to the garage," she said breathlessly. "How you know all this?" Zainab gasped, clutching at him tightly. "My husband built it. For situations like this." They reached the end of the corridor, a steel door disguised as a wall panel. Layla pulled at the hidden latch. The door groaned open, but just as they stepped through, a voice rang out behind them. "Don't move." A man stood at the far end of the hall, gun raised. He was tall, muscular, dressed in black. His face was half covered by a mask, but his voice carried a familiar tone. Zainab's eyes widened. "Not you." The man froze for a moment, enough for Yakubu to appear behind him and tackle him to the ground. The gun fired once, the sound deafening in the narrow hall. Layla screamed, shielding the twins. When the smoke cleared, the man was unconscious. Yakubu staggered up, blood on his arm. "Madam, go. I go hold the rest." Layla hesitated. "You'll die." He smiled faintly. "Better me than you." He slammed the steel door shut, locking it from outside. Layla turned, gripping Zainab's arm. "Run." They hurried down the hidden tunnel, the air damp, the floor cold. The babies cried, their wails echoing. Finally, they burst into the underground garage. Layla fumbled for the car keys, her hands shaking. "Get in." Zainab climbed into the back seat, holding the twins. As the engine roared to life, the tunnel door behind them exploded. Men shouted, lights spilling into the darkness. Layla floored the accelerator, the SUV screeching forward through the back exit that led into the old road behind the estate. The night swallowed them whole. They drove in silence for several minutes, the only sound the baby's sobs and the hum of the tires on gravel. Zainab stared at Layla's face in the rearview mirror. "Madam, where we day go?" Layla's voice was tight. "Somewhere safe. I know someone who owes Kabaru a favor." Zainab held her babies closer. All this walla because of one man. Layla's grip tightened on the wheel. Not one man, his lies, and the people who profited from them. She glanced at Zainab. "Tell me the truth, Zainab." Do you still have the USB? Zainab hesitated. Yes. Layla's tone hardened. Then we both have what they're looking for. Zainab looked out the window, fear and defiance in her eyes. So what we go do now? Layla took a deep breath. We finish what Cabarrus started. They reached an abandoned farmhouse outside Woodall, miles from the city. Layla parked behind the ruins, turning off the headlights. She got out and faced Zainab in the dim moonlight. For now, we stay here. But understand something, I don't trust you. Zainab straightened, still holding her children. You think say I trust you? You call me liar. You treat me like thief. But right now, not only you I get. Their eyes locked. Two women who should have been enemies, but now shared one fragile truth, survival. As they entered the farmhouse, a cold wind swept through the cracks in the walls. The twins whimpered. Zainab laid them on a blanket and turned to Layla. Madam, you ever think say Cabarrus die just like that? You think say accident kill him? Layla froze. What are you saying? Zainab looked down. Cabarrus tell me before he die. If anything happened to Am, it no be accident. It go be somebody close. Somebody he trust too much. Layla's eyes darkened. Boo. Zainab hesitated, then whispered. He say the danger no come from outside. It come from his own house. The words hung in the air like thunder. The wind howled through the empty farmhouse as both women stared at each other. Layla's pulse pounded. Zainab clutched her twins tighter. Outside, a pair of headlights appeared in the distance, slow, deliberate, approaching the farmhouse. And in that moment, both women realized the same terrible truth. Cabarrus's death was no accident, and the real enemy might be someone who still lived among them. The headlights outside the farmhouse cut through the darkness like twin blades. Layla and Zainab froze, exchanging a tense glance. Who could that be? Layla whispered. Zainab's hands trembled as she held her twins. We no tell anybody say we day here. The vehicle stopped several meters away. The doors opened. Boots hit the ground. Layla reached for the metal rod lying by the door, the only weapon in sight. She motioned for Zainab to stay behind her. The footsteps came closer. Then a low voice called out, Madam Layla, it's me. Layla's breath caught. She recognized that voice, Detective Musa. The visit. Layla cautiously opened the door a few inches. The beam of a flashlight hit her eyes, then lowered. Detective Musa stood there, drenched in sweat and dust, his clothes torn. Madam, I found you, he said breathlessly. Thank God you're safe. Layla stepped aside. How did you find this place? I tracked your car from the estate. You barely escaped alive. He stepped inside, looking around at the dim farmhouse. You shouldn't have stayed here. These men are everywhere. They're not just street thugs, they're connected. Zainab narrowed her eyes. Connected to who? Musa's expression hardened. To someone inside Cabarrus's business circle. Someone close to him and to both of you. The file. Layla frowned. What are you saying, detective? Musa opened his bag and pulled out a brown envelope. He placed it on the old wooden table. Cabarrus was investigating money transfers made by one of his partners before he died. The trail leads to a man named Al-Haji Suleiman Yusuf. Zainab gasped. That name, I don't hear him before. Layla's brows furrowed. He's Cabarrus's childhood friend, the one who helped manage the company accounts after his death. Musa nodded grimly. Exactly. And according to what I found, he's also the one who planned the accident. Layla's knees almost gave way. She steadied herself against the table. That's impossible. Suleiman was like family. Musa's voice was low. That's why Cabarrus didn't suspect him until it was too late. The secret recording. Zainab's trembling hand reached into her bag. Wait, Cabarrus give me something before he die. He say make I keep him safe. She pulled out the small USB drive wrapped in cloth. Layla's eyes widened. That's it. The same one they were looking for. Musa quickly connected it to his laptop. The old screen flickered to life, and a video began to play. Cabarrus's face appeared, tired, anxious, seated behind his office desk. If you're watching this, it means I didn't make it. The man I trusted with everything betrayed me. Suleiman diverted millions from the foundation into offshore accounts. And when I confronted him, he threatened to destroy me and my family. If anything happens to me, He is responsible. The screen froze. Layla's breath hitched. Ya Allah. Zainab covered her mouth, eyes filled with tears. Musa shut the laptop. Now you understand why they're after you. That file proves everything. But we can't take it to the police. Suleiman has men in every department. Layla whispered. Then what do we do? Musa looked at her steadily. We expose him publicly. A dangerous plan. By morning, the farmhouse felt colder than ever. The twins slept in a corner, wrapped in blankets. Layla sat with Zainab and Musa around a cracked wooden table, going over a plan. We'll need to get to Freedom Radio in Kano, Musa said. If we broadcast Kabru's recording live, the whole country will hear it. Suleiman won't be able to silence it. Layla nodded slowly. And you think we can get there without being seen? Musa sighed. That's the problem. He'll have men watching every exit road from Woodall. Zainab spoke softly. I sabi one small route through the old market. My uncle used him before. No police, no checkpoint. Musa smiled faintly. That could work. We move at dawn. At dawn, as the first light crept over the horizon, the three of them prepared to leave. Layla wrapped a scarf around her head. Zainab tied her twins to her back with a wrapper. They stepped out quietly, the car engine humming softly. For the first time in days, Layla felt a spark of hope. But that feeling didn't last long. Halfway down the narrow dirt road, Musa's phone rang. He looked at the screen, then his face went pale. Layla frowned. Who is it? He hesitated. It's my superior officer. He answered. Yes, sir. A deep voice cut him off. Musa, where are you? Musa swallowed hard. Sir, I'm on assignment. The voice continued coldly. You're with them, aren't you? With Layla Gubra and that woman. Turn them in now, or you'll never wear that badge again. Musa's grip tightened on the phone. Then he hung up. Zainab's eyes widened. Detective, what's that? Musa exhaled slowly. We've been betrayed. They know where we are. Layla turned sharply. By who? Before he could answer, a bullet shattered the windshield. The chase. Down! Musa shouted. The car swerved violently as gunfire erupted from behind. Two black jeeps were speeding after them, closing in fast. Zainab screamed, shielding her babies. Layla grabbed the wheel, forcing the car off the dirt road and into the bush. Branches slapped against the windshield. The engine roared. Hold on, she shouted. Bullets tore through the air, one grazing Musa's shoulder. He winced but kept firing back with his pistol through the shattered window. Zainab sobbed, We go die here. Layla growled through clenched teeth. Not today. The car burst out onto a paved road ahead, leading straight into Kano City. They had made it through the bush, but the jeeps were still behind them. Head for the radio station. Musa yelled, It's our only chance. They sped through the city streets, horns blaring, people scattering. Freedom Radio's tower loomed in the distance. Layla's eyes locked on it. Almost there. Then, as they reached the last junction, a black SUV screeched in front of them, blocking the road. Layla slammed the brakes. The tires screamed. Men in black poured out, guns raised. And at the center of them, stepping out slowly, was Al-Haji Suleiman Yusuf. Gun barrels glinted under the harsh morning sun as Suleiman's men surrounded the car. Dust rose in slow, swirling waves, the sound of engines and tension filling the air. Layla's trembling hands gripped the steering wheel. Beside her, Musa kept his pistol aimed forward, though his breathing was uneven. Zainab sat in the back, clutching her babies tightly, whispering prayers under her breath. Suleiman stepped closer, smiling as though greeting old friends. Layla, he said, voice calm and poisonous. I told you to stay out of business matters. You should have listened. Layla's voice was cold. You killed Kabru. He chuckled softly. Killed? No, my dear. Kabru killed himself, with his greed and his need to control everything. Zainab's eyes flashed. You lie. He trusts you. Suleiman's expression hardened. Trust is for fools. Kabru wanted to expose me, but he forgot who built his empire. I only took what was already mine. The trap. Musa's voice cut through the tension. If that's true, why chase them? Why try to kill the children? Suleiman gave a thin smile. Because that little USB drive in your bag, his eyes darted to Zainab, is worth more than all your lives combined. Hand it over, and I might let you walk away. Layla's heart raced. He knew. Zainab shook her head, tears in her eyes. You go kill us still. Suleiman sighed. You're right. He lifted his hand. His men cocked their guns. And then, a loud explosion shattered the moment. The jeep behind them burst into flames. Screams erupted. Musa spun around in shock. What the? From the smoke emerged two unmarked vehicles. Black, armored, their sirens muted. Down! Musa shouted, dragging Layla from the car. Gunfire roared. Bullets tore through the air as a special operations unit stormed the scene. Suleiman's men scattered, firing back desperately. The smell of gunpowder filled the air. The betrayer exposed. Layla and Zainab crawled behind a concrete barrier, holding the babies tight. Musa ducked beside them, bleeding from his shoulder. Who are they? Layla shouted over the noise. Federal security, he replied. I called them before we left the farmhouse. Told them to trace Suleiman's accounts. Zainab gasped. You set him up? Musa nodded grimly. And now we finish it. Suleiman fired from behind his car, hitting one of the officers. His calm facade was gone. Rage distorted his face. He shouted, You think you can take me down, Musa? I made you. You think you're better than me? Musa yelled back, No, Suleiman. I'm just not for sale like you. He fired and hit Suleiman's hand. The older man dropped his gun, howling in pain. The gunfire ceased. The last of his men surrendered as officers swarmed them. The confession. Layla stepped forward slowly, trembling. Suleiman glared at her from the ground, clutching his bleeding hand. You think you've won? He hissed. You don't even know the half of it. Layla frowned. What are you talking about? He sneered, voice dripping with venom. Kabaru was not the saint you think he was. Ask your friend there, the other wife. She knows exactly what your husband did before he died. Layla turned sharply toward Zainab. What is he saying? Zainab froze. Don't listen to madam. Suleiman laughed darkly. Oh, she'll deny it. But Kabra married her before he married you. You were the second wife, not her. He hid it because of your money. Layla's breath caught. Her mind spun. No, that's not true. Zainab's eyes filled with tears. I swear, I no plan him like that. Kabra begged me to keep quiet. He say he go tell you when time reach. The world around Layla blurred. Gunfire faded into the distance. All she could hear was Kabru's voice in her memory, promising love, loyalty, forever. And now she realized forever had been a lie, a fracture in trust. Layla staggered back, her face pale. You both lied to me. Zainab stepped forward, pleading. Madam, I know lie from wickedness. I suffer too. Kabra no want destroy your peace. Layla's voice cracked. He already did. Musa tried to calm her. Madam, please. Let's go. The children. But Layla's anger boiled over. No, Musa. Everything in my life has been built on lies. My husband's, this woman's, even yours. Zainab's tears fell freely. You saved me when you even know who I be. That one no mean anything. Layla's lips trembled. It means everything. And that's the problem. The fall of Suleiman. Officers dragged Suleiman to his feet, cuffing him. He smirked at Layla. You can put me in chains, but you can't bury Kabaru's sins. One day, you'll see the truth for yourself. Layla glared at him. Maybe, but you'll see prison first. The officers shoved him into one of the vans. As they drove off, the air felt lighter, but the silence between Layla and Zainab was heavy, thick with pain. Musa approached gently. You're both free now, but what comes next, that's on you. Nightfall. Later that night, they were given shelter at a safe house in Zaria Road under police protection. The twins slept quietly for the first time in days. Layla stood by the window, staring at the city lights. Zainab approached quietly. Madam, she said softly, you hate me now? Layla sighed. I don't know, but I can't forget that you're the only person who truly understands what Kabaru left behind. Zainab nodded slowly. So what we go do now? Layla looked at her reflection in the glass. A woman torn between rage and forgiveness. We find out what Kabaru was hiding. Every secret, every lie. Then we decide what kind of women we want to be after that. Zainab managed a weak smile. Together? Layla hesitated, then nodded. Together. The following morning dawned gray and heavy over Kano. A faint mist hung over the city, and inside the small government safe house, silence reigned. Layla hadn't slept. Her eyes were red, her thoughts tangled in memories of Kabaru's smile, his promises, and now his lies. Zainab moved quietly in the background, feeding the twins. Detective Musa stood near the doorway, clutching a small black laptop. He looked tense. "Madam Layla," he said softly. They decrypted the file from Kabaru's old safe. Layla turned to face him, her expression unreadable. "Play it." The second video. The laptop screen flickered to life, static at first. Then Kabaru's tired face appeared again. Older this time, heavier, eyes filled with guilt. "Layla, if you're watching this, then my sins have finally found me. I didn't plan to fall in love twice. When I met Zainab, she had nothing, just dreams and strength. I married her in secret, thinking I could help her without ruining her name. But then I met you, and you changed everything." Layla's eyes filled with tears. "I thought I could balance both worlds. But the more I gave, the more lies I had to tell. Suleiman used my secrets to control me. When I tried to come clean, he threatened both my families." The video flickered again. "If you ever find this, protect Zainab. She and the twins are innocent. And if you still have any love for me left, forgive me, even if I never deserved it." The screen went black. For a moment, no one spoke. The weight of the truth. Layla sat motionless, her tears silent. Zainab lowered her head, her heart breaking all over again. Musa shut the laptop gently. "Now you know everything," he said quietly. Layla's voice cracked. "He lied to me, but he also loved me." Zainab nodded, eyes wet. "He loved both of us, madam." That be the truth that day cut deep. Layla looked at her, really looked, at the weary eyes, the trembling hands, the twins who shared Kabaru's smile. And something inside her shifted. For the first time since the chaos began, she didn't see a rival. She saw a woman who'd been betrayed by the same man, and yet still had the courage to survive. Layla whispered, "You deserved better." Zainab gave a faint smile. "We both did." The visit. A knock on the door startled them. Musa opened it cautiously. A uniformed officer entered, saluting. "Detective, we've confirmed Suleiman's confession," he reported. "He admitted to embezzling the funds and arranging Kabaru's accident. The federal court will charge him by tomorrow." Musa exhaled in relief. "Finally." But the officer hesitated. "There's something else. The ministry found another account in Kabaru's name. It's not under the company. It's private. Large sums were transferred every month to someone named Hassan Gubra." Layla frowned. "Hassan?" But Kabaru never mentioned Hassan. Zainab looked uneasy. "Wait, Hassan is Kabaru's younger brother. ABI?" Musa nodded slowly. "Yes, but he's been missing since last year." Layla's pulse quickened. Then maybe Kabaru's death wasn't just about money. Maybe Hassan knows something. The journey to Dala. By evening, the three of them drove toward Dala, a quiet suburb on the outskirts of Kano where Kabaru's family once lived. The road was lined with dust and fading memories. Zainab held her twins close as they approached the old compound. The gate creaked as Musa pushed it open. The house looked abandoned, walls cracked, windows broken, silence heavy. Layla's heart ached. "He used to bring me here when we first married. Said this was where he dreamed of starting a foundation for orphans." Zainab whispered, "Maybe that dream still day here somewhere." They walked inside. Dust danced in the sunlight that filtered through the roof. The air smelled of age and secrets. The letter. Inside Kabaru's study, everything was covered in white sheets. Musa lifted one, revealing a locked drawer. He forced it open with a metal tool. Inside lay a faded envelope with Layla's name written in Kabaru's handwriting. Her hand shook as she opened it. The letter inside read, "Layla, if you ever find this, I'm gone. But there's one more truth you must know. Suleiman wasn't the only one who wanted me dead. My own brother, Hassan, helped him. He thought I stole their inheritance, but it was Suleiman who twisted his mind. Find him, Layla, He's out there, hiding, thinking I betrayed him. Show him the truth. He's your only chance to clear my name." The paper trembled in her hands. Layla whispered, "So Kabaru's brother helped kill him." Musa clenched his jaw. "That means the case isn't over." The shadows returned. Outside, the sun dipped low over the skyline. Zainab stepped into the yard, rocking her twins gently, when she noticed something that made her heart stop. Footprints. Fresh ones. "Musa," she called out. "Somebody Donde here." Before he could respond, a shadow moved behind the trees. A figure stepped forward, tall, slim, face half hidden by a scarf. Layla's breath caught. "Who are you?" The man stepped closer. "I'm Hassan Gabra," he said quietly. "Kabaru's brother." Musa raised his gun instantly. "Don't move." But Hassan's eyes were filled not with anger, but regret. "I know what you think," he said, "but I didn't kill him. I was there the night it happened, and I saw who really did." Layla's voice trembled. "Who?" Hassan hesitated, eyes darting toward Zainab, then back at Layla. His next words dropped like a bomb. "It wasn't Suleiman who pulled the trigger. It was someone inside your own house." The air in Dala was thick with dust and tension. Layla's heart thumped hard as Hassan's words echoed in the crumbling house. "The person who killed Kabaru still works for you." Detective Musa tightened his grip on his gun. "Talk now, before I lose my patience." Hassan raised both hands slowly. "I didn't come here to fight. I came to confess and to warn you. The hidden night." He began, his voice shaking. "That night Kabaru died, Suleiman called me. He said Kabaru was stealing company money and that I needed to stop him. I went to confront him at the old warehouse near Bompai. When I got there, I saw Kabaru arguing with someone, not Suleiman. A woman." Layla frowned. "A woman?" "Yes." She wore a scarf over her face, but I recognized her voice. "It was someone who worked for you, Madam Layla. Someone close." When she turned, I saw her necklace, your late mother's pendant. She dropped it when she ran. Layla's stomach twisted. "That's impossible. Only one person in my house wears that pendant." Zainab's eyes widened. "Who?" Layla whispered, almost choking. "Aisha, my assistant." The return to the mansion. Within hours, they were back at Layla's luxurious mansion in Kano City. The lights glowed against the night sky, as if mocking the storm that brewed inside. Musa moved first, his men surrounding the property. Zainab and Hassan stayed behind in the car, while Layla led the way into the main hall. Aisha, tall and elegant in her corporate suit, was already waiting, calm, smiling faintly. "Madam, you're back," she said softly. Layla's voice trembled. "You killed Kabaru." Aisha blinked, feigning confusion. "Madam, what are you talking about?" Musa stepped forward. "We found your fingerprints on the pendant left at the warehouse. You were there the night he died." Aisha's calm broke for a split second. Then she laughed bitterly. "Yes, I was there. But you don't understand why." The truth unfolds. Aisha's voice hardened as she continued. "Kabaru promised me everything, the same way he promised both of you. Money, love, a new life. I believed him for years, until I realized he would never leave either of you. So I went to that warehouse to beg him to choose." Her eyes glistened with tears, but her voice shook with anger. "He said I was nothing, that I was just help. So yes, I went mad. I didn't mean to kill him. I only wanted to scare him. But when he fell, I ran. And Suleiman used my guilt to keep me quiet." The room fell silent. Even Musa looked stunned. Layla's tears streamed down her face. "You were like a sister to me, Aisha." Aisha's eyes softened for a moment. "I know, madam, and that's what hurts most. I destroyed the only people who truly saw me." The escape. Musa stepped forward with handcuffs, but Aisha suddenly pulled a small gun from her handbag. "Don't move," she shouted, trembling. Zainab screamed as Musa raised his weapon. Layla stepped closer slowly. "Aisha, don't do this. It's over." Aisha's voice cracked. "Over? For you maybe. But me? My life ended the day Kabaru did." For a brief, frozen second, she looked at the twins in Zainab's arms, tears rolling down her cheeks. "He looked at them like he used to look at me. Now I understand. I was never part of his future." Before Musa could react, Aisha turned the gun toward herself. Layla screamed, but it was too late. A loud bang shattered the silence. Aisha fell to the marble floor, motionless. The aftermath. Days later, the mansion was quiet again. The newspapers called it the tragic secret of the Kabaru Empire. Suleiman faced trial. Aisha's suicide note cleared Layla and Zainab of suspicion. Detective Musa closed the file with a sigh. Case closed, he muttered. But for Layla, closure was far away. She stood in the garden, watching the sunrise. Zainab joined her, holding one of the twins. Layla smiled faintly. He'd have wanted us to take care of them together. Zainab nodded. We will, madam. We go raise them to be better than him. They stood in silence, two women bound by loss and strength. The hidden drive. Just as they turned to go inside, Musa approached, holding something small. Madam, he said, we found this in Kabaru's old office safe. It's a flash drive. The file name says, for my family, final proof. Layla's heart skipped. Play it. Musa inserted it into his laptop. The screen blinked to life. A video of Kabaru again, recorded weeks before his death. If you're seeing this, the worst has happened. Aisha wasn't alone that night. There was another, someone I trusted more than anyone else. They wanted me gone to take everything. The camera glitched, but Kabaru's final words were clear. The person you're looking for is still in your home. The screen went black. Layla froze. Her eyes widened, fear creeping back in her heart. Zainab's voice shook. But everyone's gone, madam. Who else stay for your house? Layla turned slowly toward the mansion, and then her gaze stopped. Standing by the balcony, holding one of the twins, was Mama Amina, her longtime housekeeper, watching them silently. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. The night air was still and heavy, pressing down on the mansion like a secret refusing to die. Layla's pulse hammered in her ears as she stared at Mama Amina on the balcony. The old woman's gentle smile twisted into something cold and knowing. For years, she had been a quiet shadow in their lives, cooking, cleaning, comforting. Now she looked like a stranger. Zainab stepped back, clutching her twins. Madam, she's holding Yusuf. Layla's voice trembled. Mama Amina, what are you doing with my child? The old woman laughed softly, a sound that made even the walls seem to shrink. My child? You still don't see it, do you? None of them truly belong to Kabaru or to you. The hidden past. Detective Musa raised his gun, shouting, Put the baby down. But Mama Amina's eyes were wild, her hands trembling. No, you won't take him from me again. She turned her gaze toward Layla, tears suddenly flooding her eyes. I raised Kabaru when his mother abandoned him. I fed him, clothed him. And what did he do? He destroyed my daughter's life. Layla froze. Your daughter? Mama Amina nodded slowly. Yes, madam. My daughter was Aisha. The air left the room. Zainab gasped, clutching her babies tighter. Musa's eyes widened in disbelief. She told me everything before she died. Mama Amina whispered. How Kabaru used her. How you all betrayed her. I swore I'd make him feel my pain, but he died too soon. So now I'll take what he loved most. Her arms tightened around the crying baby. The standoff. Mama Amina, please, Layla begged, her voice breaking. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. The old woman's voice was low but fierce. You didn't want to know. You rich people never do. But I watched you. I watched your husband build his empire on lies. And now his lies will bury you too. As she stepped closer to the edge of the balcony, Layla lunged forward. Musa shouted, Stop! In one heart-stopping moment, Mama Amina's foot slipped. The baby screamed. Layla threw herself forward, grabbing both Amina and the child. They tumbled backward onto the cold marble floor. The baby was safe, crying but unharmed. Mama Amina lay motionless, her head turned toward the moonlight. Layla knelt beside her, tears falling on the old woman's lifeless hand. You could have told me, she whispered. We could have healed together. But it was too late. The aftermath. Days later, the mansion was eerily quiet. Detective Musa's report was clear. The case of Kabaru Gubra's death and all its entanglements was finally closed. Zainab decided to leave Nairobi with her twins, heading back to her hometown to start new. You've done enough for me, madam, she said softly. It's time I find peace for myself and my children. Layla hugged her tightly. You'll always have a place here, Zainab. Zainab smiled sadly. Maybe one day, when the ghosts are gone. The final revelation. Weeks later, Layla sat in Kabaru's study for the last time, preparing to sell the mansion. As she packed his things, she noticed something strange, a loose floorboard beneath the desk. Curious, she pried it open. Inside was a small wooden box wrapped in black cloth. Inside the box, she found another USB drive, marked in Kabaru's handwriting. For Layla, the real truth. Her breath caught. She hesitated, then plugged it into the laptop. Kabaru appeared on the screen, his face tired, eyes full of regret. If you're watching this, Layla, I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you. Everything that happened, the affairs, the lies, they were all part of something bigger. I was working with people who wanted power, not love. I tried to leave, but they wouldn't let me. He paused, voice cracking. Aisha wasn't my only mistake. Zainab wasn't either. There's someone else, someone you've trusted your whole life. They're the reason I'm gone, and they'll come for you next. The screen went black. Layla sat frozen, her heart pounding. From the hallway, faint footsteps echoed, slow, deliberate. She turned, whispering, "Who's there?" The door creaked open just a little, and a familiar voice said, soft but chilling, "You shouldn't have found that, madam." The screen cut to black. The mansion lights flicker. The camera pans slowly over Kabaru's empty study, a symbol of power, love, and betrayal. Outside, thunder rumbles again over Nairobi. The cycle of secrets begins once more. Because in the Gubra family, the dead never stay buried.